What's crack-a-lackin'? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Hey. Welcome into episode 187, everybody. I am your host, Sleazeball. Today's episode will be my wide receiver top 36 rankings into tiers for the Week 16 Fantasy Football Semifinal Playoffs. Guys, before we dive into it here, make sure you smash that like, make sure you smash that subscription, turn that bell on. I will be live today, 5 p.m. Eastern till 7 p.m. Eastern, and then I'll be leading into my guy Big Draft Energy show. So shout out to him. Check out his YouTube, Twitter, co-host of my show. So we're gonna get a full dive work today. I'll take all the questions for 2 hours, and then on his show we will look at every single pick 'em we like heading into the week. And if you guys want to check out my quarterbacks, my running backs, those rankings are out, and I will get my tight ends out after this, guys. And of course, if you cannot make any of the live shows, one of my goals all season long has been to answer every single question for you guys to hopefully get you to the playoffs where we're at right now and a chance to win that championship. So if you can't make it, drop any comment you want down below, and let's dive into my Week 16 wide receiver rankings. So if you guys are new to the channel, this is my wide receiver Week 16 ranking board. So baller tier at the top, must start wide receivers tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5. Bottom left here, you'll see players that are probably not going to be out there Week 16. It is earlier in the week, so make sure you're paying attention to the updates. But George Pickens didn't practice past 2 days. Jalen Waddle hasn't practiced past 2 days. His injury looked worse than the updates I'm seeing right now. It looks like George Pickens has an outside chance, could be out there Week 7 or possibly this week or Week 17. It more looks like it's going to be. So make sure you're paying attention to that. And I'm going to give you the breakdowns on the season, the breakdowns the past 4 weeks, any injuries on the defense that could be impactful for your players. And let's get it rolling here. Wide receiver 1 on the week. Is there really a question ever about this guy anymore? It is Jamar Get Silly Chase. This guy is dominating fantasy football. I mean, he's wide receiver 1 by 80 points over wide receiver 2. It's absolutely disgusting what this guy is doing this year. And you're going to get the Cleveland Browns here. You're going to be at home. Could be a colder game here. 46.5 over under. But DTR is their quarterback now. So I look at this like, man, it could be a bad game script for the Bengals. They could just roll them over. DTR could be a very bad play this week. It really hurts all the, Cleveland Browns players, David Njoku, Jerry Jeudy. I'll get to those guys as we get, tight end video and later in this video for wide receivers. But Jamar Chase, still, no matter what, I'm putting him one every single time. This guy can game break any single time he catches it. And I do both players at the same time. So I'm going to put from the same team. So T. Higgins is my number 14. We're looking at the Cleveland Browns. They give up 34.4 points to the wide receiver. That ranks 23rd. They're 9th in the red zone. 154 yards to the wide receiver and 1.1 touchdowns a game. So they're about middle of the pack there between yards and touchdowns. And if I'm looking at the past 4 weeks, they're giving up 33.4. So 33.4 compared to their season average of 34, they're right on par. Nothing's no big aberration change there. So you have to love both these starts here. You have to love Joe Burrow. You got to love all the Bengals. I mean, you start all 4 of these guys every single week. Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Chase Brown's absolutely balling. And they're fighting for their playoff life. So you have to love this start here. Number 2, Justin Jefferson, the LSU drafted with Jamar Chase, wide receiver. They're going to get the Seattle Seahawks this week, and it's going to be at the 12th man. And I've been looking at the weather here, and it looks like there could be a little rain here. You never know. It's early in the week. It says 50% chance. Still, I'm starting Justin Jefferson either way. And when you're looking at the Seattle Seahawks, I got to pull up Jordan Addison, too. I always forget to do both wide receivers at the same time. Jordan Addison's been absolutely balling. He's still always scary to me, but at the rate he's going, he's definitely a flex play right now. I have him at wide receiver 30. So the Seattle Seahawks, they rank 17th, giving up 32.5, 22nd in the red zone, 136.8 yards allowed to the wide receiver, which is top 15 right there. And when you're looking at the last 4 weeks to see, because I like to look at the last 4 weeks instead of just the whole season here, that's a shout out to Big Draft Energy again. In the last 4 weeks, they are giving up 28.8. So right about, the 32.5, so they're giving up 28.8, so they've gotten better over the past 4 weeks. Still, you're starting Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison as your flex play with how hot they are and how hot Sam Darnold is. Wide receiver number 3 is going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown. Just took the wide receiver 2 overall spot behind Jamar Chase. And with the Detroit Lions now and all the injuries they have on their defense, which is absolutely insane, they're going to have to score at will. And now you just lost David Montgomery also. So you have to love both the wide receivers, all the Laporta, everyone now, because you're going to get a straight pass heavy offense that has to score at will because their defense is not going to be able to stop anything. The Detroit Lions are going to be a very, very exciting fantasy team all the way around the rest of the season here. Heading down to wide receiver number 4 here, Nico Collins. And I'm waiting for this big blow up game since his injury. Like, he's been close. He dropped that touchdown 88 yards when he first came back in his first game. You get the Kansas City Chiefs here. Now, when you're looking at this matchup here, right, you're going to look at the Kansas City Chiefs on the season. They give up 31.6. They're 31st in the red zone, so a very high touchdown upside. 132.6 yards they give up, which is top 15. But you got to look at the last 4 weeks. So when you're looking at the Kansas City Chiefs there, it's 31.6 on the season. In the last 4 weeks, they're giving up 33.8. So the passing game has been hurting them more and more. And you got Patrick Mahomes a little banged up, but he practiced fully, quote unquote. He had a high ankle sprain. Obviously, did not happen. It's the Chiefs. You never know. I don't even want to talk about the Chiefs. Honestly, as an Niner fan, they drive me nuts. Wide receiver number 5, and I'm going to go grab Cooper Kupp as well, who I have at 19. Man, this is the lowest I've ranked Cooper Kupp. That 0 hurt me so much that I'm dropping him down. Puka Nacua and the Cooper Kupp, they're going to get the New York Jets here. Now, the New York Jets are very good versus the pass, right? But when you're looking at, the defense that they have, the season is over. Their offense is kind of finding a little groove here. So, when I'm looking at Sauce Gardner, right? So, Sauce Gardner is going to be missing, I believe. I'm pulling it up here. I don't know if he's on IR for the rest of the season, or I know he had a hamstring. So, injury update before the Jaguars. Sauce Gardner's having a fun afternoon, uneven to start. So, less the game. I don't think Sauce Gardner's going to be out here, but I got to check the updates here as we go. That would really open things up even more for the Rams here. But the Jets on the season, 29.8, they rank 6th, 21st in the red zone, 137.2 yards, which is top 15. But in the past 4 weeks since the injury, right? So you have to look at this. Since their defense is depleted, their season is over. So on the season, 29.8 points, right? Very good. Last 4 weeks, this is the biggest aberration change there is. They've given up 40.43. That's an 11-point per game average difference to the wide receiver. And they give up the most production to the slots. So Cooper Kupp is supposed to be an absolute smash play here, but I'm dropping him down just out of pure anger from last week. You're still starting Cooper Kupp. Don't get crazy. Wide receiver number 6 to round out the end of the baller tier this week. It is going to be CD Lamb. And Cooper Rush has a little connection going here. CD Lamb has been balling out in fantasy football even without Dak Prescott because this man is that good at football. It is just plain and simple. And when you're looking at this game, you're going to get the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, CD Lamb in his past 2 games had 20-plus points, averaging 10 targets in both games, so 20 targets in 2 games, 15 receptions, almost 100 yards, and a TD in both games. Now you're going to get the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who rank 25th on the season, giving up 35.4, 13th in the red zone, 154 pass yards they give up, which is about bottom 10, bottom 9 in the NFL. And then when you look at the past 4 weeks, though, they've given up 30.7. So 35.4, 30.7, that's a 5-point swing. That's, better for their defense. Their defense has gotten healthier. They've also gotten better against the run, too, which was really going to help them against Rico Dowdle. But still, CD Lamb, you're smashing him out there. Wide receiver number 7 is going to be Mike, the old man chasing 1,000 yards for the 11th time in his career, Evans. And he absolutely destroyed last week, guys. I had him at wide receiver 7. It was close there. He obviously put up 40 points. He absolutely balled out. He only played 65% of the snaps and got 11 targets for 159 and 2 TDs. This guy is a red zone monster. You get the Dallas Cowboys. They ranked 24th on the season, giving up 35 points, 6 in the red zone, 157.4 passing yards, which is bottom 10. And the Cowboys in the past 4 weeks, guys, so it's even worse. The Cowboys have given up 34.9 on the season. Obviously, they were healthy. Obviously, they lost Diggs for the season. They got Bland back. They lost Micah for a little bit. He's back now. They lost to Marcus Lawrence. He could come back. They're like my 49ers, man. They're just beat up to the max. But a 34-point season average in the past 4 weeks, they're giving up 40 points. This is even more of a smash matchup for Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan here. You have to love the receiving work for the running backs in the backfield here, too, with Rashad White. The Dallas Cowboys defense is pretty bad, but Cooper Rush has that offense working, so it could be a shootout game here. Wide receiver number 8, I'm going to A.J. Brown. I'm going to grab Devonta Smith also as well here. So I had, everyone had that A.J. Brown drama last week where we don't know what's going on with him and Hurts. And of course, the drama leads to a bad matchup and a smash play. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense is good. A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts go out and just destroy. They drop 50 points combined. A.J. Brown drops 25. He sees his most targets on the season with 11, 110 yards and a touchdown. Of course, the narrative leads to that, right? I mean, and everyone's down on him. I was as well. And of course, they come out. It's like social media just drives this shit. It's crazy. The Commanders, though, they're getting the Washington Commanders in a big division game here. So 9-5 Commanders fighting for their playoff spot. The Commanders defense ranks 11th, putting up 31.3 on the season, 20th in the red zone, and 136.4 yards, which is top 10 against the wide receiver. In the past 4 weeks, the Commanders are averaging about 31.28. So 31.3, 31.28. They're right on par with their season. Nothing's changed there. This is a very good defense. Devonta Smith had his big game last week out of the slot. He's seeing more work. He's just always hard to rank for me. It's either AJ's going to pop or he's going to pop. Last week they both did. That rarely happens like that. They usually don't drop 20 points combined together, but it could happen again. I'd still say Devonta Smith is flexible. Heading down to wide receiver number 9. Actually clicked the wrong thing there. We're going to grab Tyreek Hill. So remember, Jalen Waddle is going to be missing in this game, most likely, if you're checking the injury updates. And actually, I'll just pull it up midstream here. I have not seen the official Jalen Waddle update. Not practicing Wednesday. It says day to day. So it could be out there. I mean, they're fighting for their season. He could be out there. Now, if Jalen Waddle is out here in this game against the 49ers, being banged up, I'd probably rank him around 26. But again, 24, 26 range. Again, make sure you're checking the updates. I think it's going to be more of a Jonnu game with him banged up. And when you're looking at the Dolphins matchup this week against the 49ers, the San Francisco 49ers rank 2nd versus the wide receiver on the season, giving up 28.9. They're getting healthy. They got Hufanga back. They got Ward back. They got Bosa back. This can be a tough game for Tua here. 19th in the red zone, 127.1 passing yards allowed, which is 2nd best in the NFL. Now, if you're looking at the past 4 weeks here with the 49ers, it's about 26.4, even better versus the wide receiver. So this is a very, very tough matchup the Dolphins are heading into. I know their season's on the line, possibly for both these teams. 6-8, fighting for the playoff spot. Both teams need a win here, and they need some miracle help, some losses for some other teams. Number 10, I love this play this week, Cortland Sutton. I loved it last week too versus Indy. He didn't get the volume of matchup that I thought he would. He saw the volume of 9 targets. Bo Nix was bad, man, throwing 3 picks, 2 picks a game before that. He's got on a bad streak right now. You're going to get the Chargers. And when you look at the Chargers, points per game, this defense is absolutely phenomenal. But against the pass right now, they've been getting beat pretty bad as of late. So when I pull up these season numbers, remember, we're going to do both. So they give up 33.2 on the season, ranking 21st, 10th in the red zone. Obviously, that front seven is very nasty. 150.4 yards, which is bottom 15. 1.1 chance for 1 touchdown for a wide receiver, which is high. Now, the last 4 weeks, the Chargers have been getting up 37.1. So the 2nd most average up from the last 4 games to the beginning of the season. So they've got 33.2, 37.1. They've been getting gashed by the wide receiver as of late. So this is why I like Cortland Sutton a ton this week, and he's a volume monster out there. Number 11, DJ Moore. I'm also going to go grab Keenan Allen while we are at it here, and this is my call of the week, guys. And just like Caleb Williams at my QB6, when I ranked him, it's going to draw a lot of questions, but you're going to get the Detroit Lions. And the Detroit Lions, guys, when you look at them right now, so on the season right now versus the wide receiver, the Detroit Lions give up 36.3, ranking 27th, 4th in the red zone because their front seven was nasty till all the injuries they had. They just lost Anzalone last week, Hutchinson 5 weeks before that, McNeil, Carlton Davis. They're losing their best players on defense are gone. So they're also giving up 180.6 yards to the wide receiver position, which is third worst in the NFL. Now, here's what you have to look at. This is 36.3, which is season long. Now let's look at the last 4 weeks since the injuries. So the Detroit Lions at 36.3 are to 32.28. So when you're looking at that, yes, it's a little better, but now you have just injuries everywhere. They are not going to be able to stop anything. And Caleb Williams bombed on him last time. I expect him to do the same thing again here. Keenan Allen's been on fire with 320 plus point games. I love both these guys in this matchup. You know, you could even look at, I don't want to say Romo Dunze. He's major flex play. There's too much volume to go around. Number 12, the wide receiver one in fantasy football last week. I thought it was going to be Garrett Wilson. It went the other way around. It went to Devontae Adams. Now, the New York Jets are going to get the LA Rams here this week. And the Jets are playing different football now. The monkey's off their back. There's no playoff. You know, they're done. And Aaron Rodgers is roaming free, throwing for an average of 300 yards a game in the past two. And you get the LA Rams, and they rank 19th versus the wide receiver, giving them 33 points a game, 18th in the red zone, 144.6 passing yards, 1.2 passing TDs they allow, which is high. But you have to look at the last 4 weeks here, and you're going to have, you know, your game here with Josh Allen as well, who, you know, when they had their shootout game really hurt him. But they're only giving up 29.58. So 33, 29.5, big drop there. 4-point average down for the defense, which is good to see. I'm still throwing out both these wide receivers as starts either way, with Aaron Rodgers slinging it the way he is. Heading down to tier 2, wide receiver number 13 for me, Brian Thomas Jr. There should no longer, and I fell for this too with Mac Jones, right? I was like, do I really like Brian Thomas Jr. with Mac Jones at quarterback? This guy is matchup proof, guys. He is must start every single week. Doesn't matter. Big body, red zone. He's seen 10, 12, and 14 targets over the past 3 games, averaging about 90 yards, a touchdown a game, 20 points, 17 points, 33 points. You're getting the Las Vegas Raiders. You are smashing Brian Thomas Jr. into your lineup. The Las Vegas Raiders on the season versus the wide receiver, they're actually not bad. So they rank 9th, giving up 30.7, but they rank 26th in the red zone, which is where BTJ thrives. Very high touchdown upside. 133.3 yards, which is top 10. The Raiders have actually been really good versus the wide receiver. And in the past 4 weeks for the Raiders, though, they've given up 37.8, which is a massive difference. So this is the second biggest average difference from on the season to now. 30 points they give up on the season, 38. That's an 8-point a game average for the wide receiver. You have to love BTJ. You have to love Brenton Strange in this game. Wide receiver number 15 is going to be Terry McLaurin, and the matchup is rough here. The Philadelphia Eagles are number 1 versus wide receiver on the season, giving up 27.3. They only allow 120.9 yards, which is also number 1. The emergence of Cooper DeJean, the rookie out of Iowa that they added to their secondary, has just made them a nightmare defense. But if there's any hope here, right, there's a little change in the guard here. So the Eagles have given up 30.2 over the past 4 games. So when you're looking at the season long, they're at 27.3, a 3-point, little difference average per game. Helps a little bit. I'm still starting Terry McLaurin. He's the only option out there. You're going to have Zach Ertz out with a concussion. You might see a little Ben Sinnott here. I'll talk about him in my tight end video. But Terry McLaurin's still going to be target share 30%. You have to get this guy out there no matter what. Number 16, Malik Neighbors. And, man, it's just been I started to get a little worried. So when the season started, I put out a bunch of videos. I was like, dude, it's going to kill Malik Neighbors going to the Giants with Danny Dimes, right? And then all of a sudden he was wide receiver 1 for like 3 weeks, and then you got the real Danny Dimes. And I wish this guy was just drafted anywhere else. He is such an electric talent, man. He even got 24.2 points last week. I loved him over at Marvin Harrison Jr. We had tons of comments on the stream. And dude, this guy's just a volume king. 13, 10, 14, 9. All these targets. He's averaging 12 targets a game over the past 4. Obviously, the touchdown upside is not always going to be there with the quarterback play, but volume is king. You're going to get the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons versus the wide receiver on the season ranked 30th, giving up 38.7, dead last in the red zone, giving up 10.6, 158.7 yards, which is bottom 10. And the Atlanta Falcons in the past 4 weeks, nothing is really changing. 39.17, even worse. So the Atlanta Falcons have just been hemorrhaging points to the wide receiver. You have to love Malik Neighbors. I would rank him a lot higher if he had a good QB. Honestly, it's just trouble with Drew Lock. I just don't trust it. Number 17, and this one was really hard for me to rank here. So you're going to see Michael Penix Jr. here. They finally benched Kirk Cousins, which is what they should have done a long, long time ago with how he's played in the past 5 weeks. So, I mean, if you want an interesting stat here, when Josh Allen dropped his 51.9 points for the fantasy football record, Kirk Cousins combined five games. Don't beat that. That's how ridiculously bad Kirk Cousins has been playing. Now, you're going to get the New York Giants. And we know the New York Giants offense does not move the ball at all. They are good versus the wide receiver. They rank 10th, giving up 30.9 on the season, 7th in the red zone, 138.7 yards, which is top 10. But when you look at the past 4 weeks, they give up 31.55. So about same thing. They gotten a little worse by 0.6, but their offense is so bad. Their defense is grinding. I mean, the fact that their defense is still in the top 10 versus the wide receiver with their offense never moving the ball is an impressive front 7 defense. You got to give it up to the Giants defense. Their offense just is terrible, man. Number 20 for me is going to be Amari Cooper. I'm also going to grab Khalil Shakir down here as well. Man, Josh Allen has so many weapons. I don't know who's going to stop this Bills team, man. They are on fire. 50 points back-to-back games. Josh Allen, 90 points over 2 games. Absolutely bonkers. And it doesn't make sense to me, right? So Amari Cooper plays the Rams in Week 14, sees 14 targets. And then you come out versus Detroit, who's a very bad pass D, in a 80-plus point over-under game that they drop 40 points by each team. And Amari Cooper sees 0 targets. I'm giving him the Cooper Kupp treatment, dropping him down to 20 here. You get the New England Patriots. The matchup is great. New England Patriots versus the wide receiver. They rank 18th, give it up 32.7, 25th in the red zone, so very high touchdown upside there. 150 yards and a 90% chance for one wide receiver to get a touchdown. And when you look at the last 4 weeks, the New England Patriots are giving up, as I scroll to find them on my chart here, hang on. New England Patriots versus the wide receiver. Of course, it's the one I can't find. The Patriots. I guess I'm just rolling by them here, missing them as we go. Oh, they're giving it 25.77. So better there on that front. So I'm looking at the season. They're dropping about a 7-point average with Christian Gonzalez out there. So it is nice. It could be a snow game here. The weather's going to be a little different. So it's just get Josh Allen, man. Josh Allen is just nuts. So none of it really matters to me with Josh Allen. He's just too good. Wide receiver 21 is going to be Jackson Smith and Jigba. I'm also going to grab DK Metcalf. This is the lowest I have ever ranked DK Metcalf in my entire fantasy football career. This guy, it just seems like the shoulders either really hampered him or Jay Season's the new wide receiver 1 in Seattle. I mean, DK Metcalf over the past 3 weeks is averaging past 4 weeks is 8 fantasy points a game. 9, 10, 8, 5. Hasn't found the end zone once. Hasn't seen double-digit targets once. Hasn't seen over 80 yards receiving or over 70. He had 70 once. He hasn't seen over 70 yards receiving. Man, the matchup is beautiful, too. The Minnesota Vikings rank 32nd versus the wide receiver, giving up 41.1 points. They rank 28th in the red zone, 190.9 yards, 1.1 TDs a game. All that is dead last, very bad. But I just don't trust DK Metcalf in this game. I mean, and I look at the past 4 weeks for the Vikings as well. They're still 44.63, even worse than their season average. They are second worst behind the Bills. Everything looks like a smash DK, smash Jay Season game. Obviously, you're starting Jay Season, but DK Metcalf, I don't know if I trust the start this week. He cost me a couple fantasy playoffs last week. He's kind of on my shit list, so still, if you need to throw him out there at flex, you can. I mean, it's just risky. He's just not getting the volume. I think he's really banged up by that shoulder injury. Number 23 is going to be Juwan Jennings. I'm also going to grab Deebo Samuel, and I cannot believe Deebo Samuel I'm ranking him this low, especially in my 49er bias. Deebo Samuel has just been freaking terrible, man. So the 49ers in this matchup are going to get Miami. Now, Miami on the season versus the wide receiver ranks 4th. They give up 29.1. They rank 14th in the red zone, 129.8 yards, which is top 5. It's a very good defense versus the pass with Ramsey and Fuller at corner. And when you're looking at Miami in the past 4 weeks, they're 34.3. So about a 4.5 point difference. They've been giving up more points. Obviously, heading down the stretch, their season's definitely hanging in the wires. They lost Phillips, their DN. That really hurt their defense. And when I look at Deebo Samuel, man, I mean, just hear this out for 5 weeks, guys. 6 points, 3 points, 4 points, 5 points, 5 points. That is literally 14, 17. That's 23 points in 5 games. That is a absolutely terrible showing from Debo. But he's that guy, man. He's that guy where you sit him and then he pops, and you know that he would like to go off nuts during the fantasy football playoffs and just go nuts on social media afterwards too. I just don't trust it. It definitely could happen because it's Debo Samuel, and I've never ranked him or DK this low, but this is where we're at in week 16 of the fantasy football playoff season right now. Number 24 is going to be Ladd McConkey. Tonight's matchup versus the Denver Broncos, a huge matchup for both teams here fighting for the playoff lives. Ladd McConkey's been absolutely spectacular. So 16 points, 21 points, 14 points, 18 points. The Denver defense is very good. And I don't know if Pat Surtain is going to try and lock up Ladd McConkey because he's the go-to guy now in Denver. So that's the only reason I'm ranking him lower here. So the Denver Broncos rank 7th versus the wide receiver, giving up 30 points a game. The top 3 in the red zone, number 3, 150.2 yards, which is top 15. And the Denver Broncos in the past 3 weeks, or past 4 weeks, if we're looking at their average, they had that Jerry Jeudy, Jameis Winston explosion, 500-point aberration game. So when you're looking at their defense, it's 42.17, which is a major difference from their season average, right? I don't think that's going to happen. This is going to be a grunge division game here tonight. Do I like Ladd McConkey as a start still? Yes. I just say I'm tempering his expectations. Patrick Surtain, that Denver D is nasty, man. Wide receiver number 25, Calvin Ridley, and Mason Rudolph is named the quarterback now for the Tennessee Titans. And Calvin Ridley's still going to see all the volume, guys. There's no really other wide receiver. You can say Westbrook Akine. He had a little hot streak for a minute of his aberration touchdowns going crazy. And you're going to get a beautiful matchup. The Indianapolis Colts is one of my fantasy football pot of gold teams. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the wide receiver. They can't stop the tight end. They can't stop anything. So they give up 31.4, which ranks 12th, 24th in the red zone, 145.9 yards. And the Indianapolis Colts, but they've got in the past 4 weeks, they've gotten really better. They also had a bye in there, but they gotten a lot better versus the wide receiver. 25.73 still. You're in a dome. There's no weather here. You got to like Calvin Ridley still as a flex play this week. Number 28 is going to be Jacoby Myers. And the matchup is absolutely beautiful here. And Aiden O'Connell is back at quarterback. I could have ranked Jacoby Myers higher. I just feel like this is the Brock Bowers game here. He wants to secure that rookie reception record. He wants to secure his tight end 1. Aiden O'Connell coming back is going to elevate all of them. Yes, I still like Jacoby Myers as a flex start, but I feel like this is the Brock Bowers just monster 30-point game coming this week. And when you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, they are there's 3 fantasy football pot of gold teams. You can subscribe to my channel. This is one of them. The Jaguars ranked 29th, giving it 38.6, 180.9 yards, which is second last, 1.1 TDs, which is also bottom of the barrel. And in the last 4 weeks, the Jacksonville Jaguars have given it 34.77. So about a 3-point swing there. They've gotten a little better defensively, but their schedule has also been really ugly, so they haven't really played a competitive offense to blow them out. 31, this is where we're at, man. Marvin Harrison Jr., guys. And honestly, everything on paper says smash start, right? You're playing the Carolina Panthers. You let me know in the comments right now if you feel comfortable starting Marvin Harrison Jr., who over the past 6 games has only popped 10 points twice. He's only seen over 10 targets twice this year. And he only has one touchdown in the past 4 games. It's all been the Trey McBride show. The Carolina Panthers versus the wide receiver have gotten a lot better on the season, but you have to aberration these numbers. They're kind of putrid, I guess you'd say, because they get beat by the run. They're 32nd in the run in every single category. So, they just get hammered. So that's why James Conner is my RB1 if you want to check out my running back rankings. Marvin could be a flex play if you want to. There's going to be a lot of Marv questions this week. I don't have a lot of trust in Marvin Harrison Jr., man. I hate to say it. Number 32, Zay Flowers getting the Pittsburgh Steelers this week. Now, Zay's that game breaker, man. He's that guy that's, and he's not going to get much deep balls. He's getting gadget plays. So he's going to get, 6, 7, 8 targets a game, so about a 6 target average, but around there. And it's going to be all little dink and dunks and see what he can do with Yak. He hasn't really been the deep ball guy. It's become Rashad Bateman as of late, which is crazy because he's a bigger body. He can go up and get the ball. Zay Flowers cannot. He has to beat you with his speed. Now you get the Pittsburgh Steelers here. The last time Zay Flowers played the Pittsburgh Steelers, he did exactly what he does as his floor, 10 to 11 points. If you need that flex play, that's fine. I just have him a little lower this week. I was low on him last week as well. He had 11 points again. He's had 11 points in 4 straight games. He's a floor gadget, just across the middle, see what can happen. Yes, he can always break one if he gets loose for sure. But you're going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They rank currently right now on the season versus the wide receiver at 15, giving up 31.7, 17th in the red zone, 153.6 yards, which is middle of the pack. So all their averages out at about 15. In the past 4 weeks, though, they've been getting up 38.55. So big swing there. 7-point swing. Since their offense has lost George Pickens, they don't really move the ball well, keeping their defense on the field more. You can flex Zay. I mean, you can flex Marv and Zay if you want. It's just, it's risky. I mean, I guess Zay's not risky. He's got a nice floor. Marv's more risky than Zay, but I like Marv's touchdown upside higher. That's why I ranked him higher. Now, number 33. This would be a top 12 wide receiver for me this week. Jerry Jeudy. He would be a top 12 wide receiver if Jameis Winston was out there. But they named DTR the QB, the starting QB. So it really, really shakes things up for Jerry Jeudy, who is absolutely balling this year, right? So, I mean, DTR's played 3 games, 3 full games. He's thrown for 440 pass yards in those games. That's a terrible average. I mean, Jameis Winston did that in 1 game. He's thrown for 1 TD in those games. Man, the matchup versus the Bengals is gold. This defense is very, very bad. They're almost becoming a pot of gold defense for me, but they still stop the run pretty well. So they rank 20th, get to 33. They rank 1 in the red zone. Obviously, that run defense in front 7 is nasty. 150 yards, middle of the pack. But when you're looking at the Bengals in the past 4 weeks as well, the Cincinnati Bengals average has gone to 30.13. So gotten a little better versus the pass. Obviously, man, Njoku and Jerry Jeudy in this game would be absolute smashes for me. I don't know what to do with DTR. You can still flex Jeudy if you need, right? I mean, if you have bad options, but I just don't know how it's going to look with this guy. Last time he was out there, he targeted Cedric Tillman, and Cedric Tillman's going to be back. So, it's very, very tough with him right now. Number 35 is going to be Jaden Reed in the Green Bay Packers, and everything on paper looks amazing here, right? So you could say Romeo Doubs as well, or Christian Watson. The New Orleans Saints ranked 28th versus the wide receiver with 36.5, 173 yards, which is bottom 5. In the past 4 weeks, the Saints are still giving up 37.93, even worse than what they have. But you're in Green Bay. Looks like it's going to be raining in this game. Green Bay has been pounding Josh Jacobs. You have Spencer Rattler at quarterback. If Jaden Reed doesn't score in the first 2 quarters, they're really going to need to pass the ball down the stretch. I'm hoping that Jordan Love still pops 20. He's on my smash playlist. But the game script could get really ugly here. That's the only reason I have Jaden Reed and the Packers so low. Number 36, DeAndre Hopkins. When are they going to give this guy like a full workload? I just don't understand what their game load is right here. I know they're 13-1 still. They win every game. That's fine. But I mean, over the past 4 weeks, he's been a nice floor play. 14, 13, 13, 8, averaging 11 points or 12 points a game here. 6 targets, 9 targets, 9 targets, 6 targets, about a 7-target average. But he only plays 45, 55, 59, 45% of the snaps. Like, why isn't he getting wide receiver 1 usage? You're going to get Hollywood Brown back this week as well. Obviously, the bigger body touchdown is DeAndre Hopkins. You get the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans front 7 is very good versus the run. They are bad versus the pass. This matchup is great. They rank 26, giving it 35.4, but they're second in the red zone. Obviously, that front 7 is nasty. 155.1 yards, which is bottom 15, and 1.4 TDs, which is NFL worst versus the wide receiver. 32nd. No one else even has that much. They've allowed the most TDs to the wide receiver. But the Houston Texans in the past 4 weeks, let's average them out and see the difference they have between them. They're getting a 34.03. So, you're looking at 35.4, 34.03, about the same. 1 point average difference. Patrick Mahomes is back. His quote unquote injury that didn't happen. So I'm gonna rank DeAndre Hopkins at 36 still. Hollywood Brown back out there. Travis Kelce. A lot of names to go around now. Hey. Thanks for rocking with me today, guys. That is my top 36 week 16 wide receiver rankings. We're 6 days away from Christmas. Merry Christmas to you and your family, guys. And remember, I'll be doing a giveaway on my 200th episode. That is 13 episodes away. But I'll do a whole video breaking that down for you guys to give back to you guys for all the support you guys have shown me, which is absolutely amazing. Before we head out, make sure you smash that like, hit that subscription, turn that bell on. I'll be live today at 5 p.m. Eastern to 7, taking all your questions, going over some drafters, looking at some pick'ems, and then we'll lead right into Big Draft Energy show tonight. So make sure you check out his YouTube, Big Draft Energy, on Twitter as well. That's co-host to my show, co-host to his show. Amazing work behind the scenes my guy does, amazing calls, everything. Make sure you check it out. And if you guys can't make any of the streams, you can always drop any comment you want down below, and I'll get you my tight end rankings next. And that's it for me this week, because then I head out of town Friday afternoon for my wife's family in Tahoe. It's going to be freezing cold. I'm ready to hit the slopes with some snowboarding. But I'll catch you guys in the next video. Sleazeball out.